All right guys, this is my 95 Honda Civic hatchback, and it is my daily driver for the last couple years, and I think it looks pretty sick the way it does now. It's a little underpowered, but so much fun to drive. Typically this is how we ride around here in Cali. Don't have AC, very hot. You kind of got to get to where you're going really quickly. Don't want to really stop too long in the traffic because then you just start sweating. Pretty compact too. That's why it's called the little hatchback. Anyway, on today's video, it's gonna be a little bit of a junkyard blog slash one specific repair, but we'll get into that later. And what the heck is that? Now this is my daily Civic, right? So I drive it all the time, and basically I can't afford not to drive it, right? It's gotta be mobile and it's gotta be reliable. Of course, that means repairs gotta be timed. Upgrades gotta be timed, and repairs have to be done timely, right? So I basically just stay ready at the junkyard, searching for parts whenever I need them. And the other day, I went to the junkyard to find, basically just to look around and see any stuff I might need in the future. And one particular problem that's been bugging me is I have no AC, and that's freaking annoying here in Cali. It's hot and annoying, and it's hot, but I never really tackled installing it just because it's so expensive. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty expensive. So I figured, why not buy it piecewise? If I can compile all the pieces together after a couple videos, I should be able to install it all in one. So while I was at the junkyard basically looking around for parts and just trying to make a mental note of everything that I would need to install AC, I also remembered that my Civic actually had another issue that I should probably talk about. Let me show you guys. And let me just close the garage here because the light might be an issue. Now, while I was there, I also remembered that the Civic had a little problem a few weeks back that I thought I should wrap up. Now, the other day, the Civic had a little bit of an oil smell, right? So I checked it out, and I saw that the culprit was this little valve-looking thing by the manifold. Of course, now I know that this little valve is called the PCV valve, and it stands for positive crankcase ventilation valve, and essentially just allows air into the manifold, right, to be recirculated, and it's only supposed to allow air in one direction. Basically just popped it off and cleaned it with a little bit of carb cleaner, which you're not supposed to do with plastics, I think, because it'll dry it out and might break it, but you know, I didn't care. Well, I'll show you guys what I mean.
This one's kind of strange. I'm pretty sure this is a vacuum line, but why is there oil in there? I don't understand that.
Man, that thing's in there pretty freaking tight, and I don't want to snap it because it's just plastic.
Okay, I think I might have got it. So the key is not to pull it, but to kind of like wedge it out, I guess. And then pull it, maybe? Ah!
Yep, that did it all right.
A lot of oil in there. I can see it.
But you guys can tell I kind of scratched it up. I tried to pull it out. Best bet is to kind of wedge it out from the bottom with something, and maybe that'll relieve some pressure, and then you can pull it out. Because essentially what I was doing is I just kept pulling, but it just kept getting suctioned back in. I was a little afraid to pull it too hard, even though I just kept pulling with the same amount of strength, and you guys can tell I kind of scuffed it up. But let's see if we can get some gunk to come out of this thing and see if it actually is clogged.
No, there's air. I don't see any gunk. Ah.
Okay, so I checked it, cleaned it, and I'm gonna go ahead and just put it back in there, and hopefully the leaking of oil ceases to bother me because it smelled like burnt something when I came into the garage today. I took you out, and I'll put you back in. And here we are, a couple weeks later after I kind of forgot about it. Until I went to the junkyard and saw a little Civic there that also had the PCV valve kind of just like right there. And it kind of just like reminded me of my issue. Looks like this Civic also had issues with their little valve here. You can tell that looks pretty brand new. And what the heck is that? What? Looks like clay. I'm glad I still have mine. Now, I didn't end up taking it just because mine still kind of worked, right? And I'm not gonna buy that unless mine gives out. Yeah, I guess cleaning it and putting it back together really did the job. For me, I'm just gonna leave this one as is just because I think it's the OEM one and I'm not gonna mess with it if it's not broken. Now, onto the AC parts for this little hatchback. And I'm not really sure what it is that I need, but there are tons of videos on this topic and a bunch of forums that let you know. So naturally, I went to the Junkyard to find any parts that I would see connected to the AC and basically just take, right? Because I don't have much. And at the same time, I really don't know what I'm doing. So it was just a good idea to go to the Junkyard and see how everything was wired up and put together. And one of the things that I thought, well, that I knew I definitely needed was some AC lines. They are cleaning house here. Now, initially, I just came here to do some research and check out the new Civics. Of course, that then turned into finding some cool parts. You know, same old shit. Now, I did end up finding a Civic somewhere way over there. Now onto the skinny one. This one's gonna be a little bit more complicated. There we go. That wasn't that difficult. Although it was made a lot easier seeing as there was nothing here in the way and I'm missing still a bunch of parts. Gotta start somewhere. I'm gonna go look around and see if I can find another Civic with more parts. And I got this harness here. I'm not sure if this is the right one, but it was near the condenser, so I'm taking it anyway. And this one's got the bracket also, but no compressor. I got another condenser here, but I'll probably just buy that new. So I managed to remove this whole thing all in one piece, and then this one, I don't know if I got this one. I think this one was already removed when I got there. But then the smaller one is here, this one here. And I had to break that one up into two. And then just ended up with two hoses, you know, the high and the low, because I knew that's what definitely had to go in there. And I also needed a condenser, a compressor, and then this canister looking thing here. I read online though that this piece here should definitely be bought new, so I'm not even gonna bother taking that one. I'll just buy that one brand new. This here is the condenser and it doesn't look too bad. I'm gonna go ahead and ask how much it costs here to take this one though, and see if it's worth taking. Also, I need the compressor that goes here, which this one also doesn't have. The one over there definitely didn't have it, and two other Civics that I checked also don't have it. So that might be a little tricky. Damn, another Civic with no compressor. It kind of worries me because that means it's either rare, very sought after, or breaks easily, all of which means it's gonna cost a little bit of money, which is not good for my wallet. Now, while I was at the Junkyard, I noticed a bunch of Civics had a few parts for the AC here and there, and one of them in particular had a pretty bare engine bay that allowed pretty good access to those lines, so I wasn't even gonna buy them at that time, if I'm honest, but I just decided to take them. I also picked up this harness, which I assume to be the AC harness, given its location, and I cleaned it up, and it looks pretty good. Of course, when I got back here, I saw I already had it. You know, I knew I had these little relay looking things. I didn't remember if I had this attached or not. And I pulled it out and I just kind of like forgot, and I just ended up buying them, and it's not a relatively inexpensive piece. I guess for all the lines that I bought, it's about 120 bucks, and that right there itself was about 40. Now, the lines that I got, right, I basically bought and put them up here for storage. I also bought the bezel here, which, if you guys know, is actually part of the AC, right? It's got the vents, and I know for a fact mine's broken. I got a little carried away and I busted it, but this one has it in complete and pretty good condition. Now, I checked all the lines out, and I'm gonna be replacing all the rings on the hoses anyway, so I'm also gonna order a kit online for that as well. Here are the lines, and check them out. It's amazing how a little bit of degreaser and a little bit of elbow grease makes them look a lot cleaner. They are by no means new, but they're new to me, and I just wanted to make them look a little bit nicer and a lot cleaner when I put them in. After I bought those and the harness and the bezel, right, I brought them back here and I just basically cleaned them all up, and they all look pretty solid. I didn't see any damaged parts, nothing like that, and they're pretty much ready to go. Yeah, like I said, they're not new, but you know, I'm just more excited to have AC in my little hatchback and not have to worry about driving with the windows down all the time and getting all dirty and stuff like that, because it does get annoying. And the AC is just, you know, a lot cooler. Pun intended. So, after doing a couple trips to the junkyard, I realized that it's gonna take me a couple videos to get all the equipment ready, and I didn't wanna just make one giant one that's like 50 minutes long on AC stuff. So I'm gonna kind of just like disperse it and then just do the install all in one video, but I gotta get all the parts first. And of course, I actually ended up buying an extra one of this, which no big deal, right? I'm just gonna return it and use that money to buy another part. Yeah, like while I was at the junkyard, I saw basically not a single Civic had the entire setup. It's annoying, and the compressor is going to be a little bit annoying to find. However, I already have the bracket, which is a good thing, and I actually already have the evaporator installed because this Civic actually did come with AC. Just someone took it off. As you can tell by me already having the harness here, it should be plug and play now. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Stay tuned for whenever I finally get all the AC parts that I need, but for now, that's going to be it. So take care and Goodspeed.